Hello, everyone. Welcome to episode 2 of season 3 of the Bolt Council podcast. Today is a different twist to it as I am bringing my in real life friends in here for once. And yes, technically it still counts because it's also a streamer as well. So,
Yes,
for
technically.
so for those who have not seen this man in my chat before, this is Liquid Juffles. He is my one of my in real life best friends. You've probably seen him around here. He's probably tried to get you to fall for a D's nuts joke. He's gotten at least 3 or 4 people from my memory.
Yeah. I've
And
I've kind of slowed down on that a little bit.
he got one person with the with what was it? I think I was playing Pokemon one day, and he asked, "What's that blue fighting Pokemon called?" And then someone fell for it, and then he finished it, and then I think the guy just I don't think I've seen that guy in my chat ever since, actually.
I might have cost you a viewer on that one.
Well, actually no, he came back. He probably just couldn't believe he fell for it. So, without further ado, let's all welcome Liquid Juffles.
That would be me.
We are 2 days removed from an unfortunate event in the sports
Yeah,
world, but we are moving past that now.
yeah.
We,
I don't expect to do an episode of Get Down anytime soon.
I think it's gonna be me and Shane or me and GK for a bit.
No, it's okay. I mean, I would
Yeah.
totally talk about it. Uh, it's unfortunate, and
Mhm.
yeah, while it did suck, and I think that first night was the hardest part.
Mhm.
I was real bummed about it, and
Mhm.
now I'm just kind of like, oh well, it just sucks being a fan of
Mhm.
Philadelphia sports
Well,
right now.
funny you mention that because the person in my chat right now, her family are Phillies and Eagles fans, and they
Yeah.
live in Florida.
Yeah, it has been tough the last 99 days. They said it in the
Hmm.
last 99 days Philadelphia sports has lost 3 championships.
And two
So,
in one night.
yeah,
I, I'm,
that was not.
I still don't think you end the MLS final on a shootout, but that's me.
Yeah, well, you know what? They should have won anyway because they were already
That
up the
is
first
also
one.
true.
So,
So I mean, they shot themselves in the foot, so
yeah.
you can't really complain there. And then the other team, they just ran out of magic, I guess.
Yeah, they really did. You know what? That was a really fun
Hmm.
ride on that one.
It
You
was.
and I would texting each other every day.
Yep.
To 3 more wins topper, 2 more
Oh
wins
yeah.
topper.
Yep.
You know,
And now all I have to say for now is handsome topper.
handsome topper, handsome Rusev.
Indeed. So you never really think about this because high school still feels like yesterday sometimes.
Yeah, you're kind of right with that. It does kind of feel
It
like it's
still
like
feels
just
like
the
we
other
just
day.
graduated yesterday, but then
Yeah,
you look back at it and it's been 12 years since we graduated almost now,
we're
like
almost
coming in
30 years
June.
old.
We still haven't had our 10-year reunion. Thank you, student, whoever we have to blame for that, but whatever, I don't care.
Yeah, that was well that was kind of COVID too because I mean our
Oh,
we
yeah, that's
graduated in
also true.
2011. We graduated in 2011,
Yeah,
so it was like right after COVID
yeah,
and
that's true.
yeah.
Well, I guess if 2010 hasn't yet, then we haven't. Then we won't have ours.
Yeah. Yeah, well, you know what? I know at least my dad would go down to the shore in order to go to some of the like all class reunions. So he
Mm-hmm.
saw some of the people we graduated with down there.
Mm-hmm.
But I was living in Florida at the time, so I didn't go with him. But
Yeah. Didn't your dad
yeah.
actually like graduate with one of our classmates' mothers or something?
Correct. Yep. And it was actually that woman's daughter that we graduated with that he saw down there. So,
Gotcha. Okay, that's right.
yep.
Hmm.
Yeah, Don and I met in high school. That was our freshman year, right?
It was freshman year, yeah. That's when I
Freshman
first
year.
went to West Defford.
Yes, correct.
Even though technically
Um,
we should have, here's a fun fact for those who don't notice. We actually should have met each other a long time ago, even before high school.
yeah, we both actually originally were living in the same town.
Hmm.
And if I had stayed in that town, I would have met Don earlier, but then
Hmm.
he would have still left.
Yeah.
But the fact that I left earlier, then we
Hmm.
ended up meeting freshman year in our guitar class.
Yep.
And it's ever since then.
We also have the same childhood friend.
Oh, that's true. Yeah, we both had the same childhood friend
Yeah.
in that town.
Hmm.
Um, Unbeknownst to us, we both were both friends with that same person.
Oh yeah. I still remember. You know, the funny thing is, I don't remember ever going to his house as a kid. It was someone else, I think, when I forget what happened to him, but
I went to his house for a birthday party once.
okay,
I remember that. He lived in my neighborhood.
gotcha.
Um, I do know that. So
Okay,
yeah,
so yeah,
and
so yeah,
we met in guitar
yes,
class.
we did.
And I stole your sheet music.
I remember that.
Stole your sheet music, and then our guitar teacher actually got arrested
Yeah,
later that year.
he did some spicy things.
Yeah, he was looking up illegal things on the internet.
Yeah,
Yeah.
apparently
So
it was you know, because I'll still say this, and I'll defend him when I say I would never see him ever doing that, and neither did the music department.
yeah, he was kind of someone where like he was a little eccentric, but
Hmm.
I mean, I really hope he wouldn't have done that. But like, because I
Yeah,
mean, like he was an awesome teacher. He was great. Um, but yeah, I mean, if he was actually doing stuff like that, that's unforgivable.
yeah, I agree. So I remember you would steal my sheet music every day because I think we would play like whatever he wanted us to play for like 20 minutes, and then after that, like the last like 15 minutes of class, you just do whatever you want.
Yeah, and there were a couple kids who literally would just sit there with their guitars on their lap and not touch anything.
Oh yeah.
There were a couple
So
of those.
so what I would do is I printed out sheet music of was it fittingly I had the one I remember most, and it's fitting for this time. I had the Mario Brothers song
Hmm.
in sheet music, so I would just play that on guitar. I wouldn't do like the whole thing because the only I wasn't skilled enough to do that.
Yeah.
Fitting with the Mario movie coming out in what, like 2 months, I think.
Hmm. Now, yeah, I mean, I've actually continued to play guitar since then. I've actually been trying to get a lot better, so I actually have it right here.
Ah, okay.
So,
I haven't touched
yeah,
the guitar since, yeah, not since freshman year
yeah.
because
I've
we're
been playing a lot more lately, and I've actually having a good
hmm.
time with it. I got a bunch of calloused fingers.
Oh yeah.
Um,
I
but
remember having a callus on my thumb
yeah,
after like the first week of playing.
yeah. But I mean,
Hmm.
in all honesty, it's that was
Yeah.
it was a good time because you know what,
Hmm.
I haven't taken lessons since then, but I still
Hmm.
kind of retain it a little
Oh
bit.
yeah.
So
For me, it was an easy A, and I don't know. I just hopped on as soon as. I mean, it was nice to learn how to play guitar, but looking back on it, I thought gym was an easy A. No, you. I don't know why you can't get. Well, you would still pass with an A, but you would never get the grade you thought you would get.
well, I always used to not change for gym, so I'd always end up with C's.
Really?
Yeah.
I.
Well, number one, I was embarrassed of myself back then. I was pretty overweight in high school.
Okay.
So I was embarrassed of myself in order to get changed in front of a bunch of other people.
Yeah.
Also, I didn't really have autonomy over what I got to wear to school. My parents really bought me my clothes and decided what I was going to wear to
Really?
school most of the time. Yeah, and well, not like they picked out my stuff for me, but they like
Hmm.
bought things for me, and like I got made fun of because like I would wear tighty whities to school, and
Oh.
everybody else is wearing boxers. So like
Hmm.
you wear tighty whities to school, and you're getting
Yeah.
changed in gym, and people see
Hmm.
that, and then they get like
Oh yeah.
really
Hmm.
they make fun of you. They're kids. They're
Yeah.
kids. They're
Yeah.
teenagers. So
Typical stuff in school growing
yeah.
up as a guy.
Oh, because you got changed for gym. You got to change your shirt and your
Yeah.
pants for gym. Sorry, I'm reading the chat as
Yeah.
well.
Yeah. You're good.
Um, yeah, so like, get changed for gym, you
Hmm.
take off your school clothes and then you put on gym clothes so that you don't get sweaty in your school clothes. But yeah, so that's why they were
Yep.
able to see that.
Just going around getting dressed, getting changed in front of all the jocks and all the other people
Yeah, and you know
in your
what?
gym
For the
class.
most part, people weren't that bad. There were a couple people. So,
Oh yeah. It's the one time you see more of your friends than you need to see.
hmm yeah, a little bit too much.
Yeah, I would never, funny enough, I would never change either, especially during the spring and summer where you just start wearing basketball shorts anyway.
Yeah, and you know what? I think a lot of the things is I would wear jeans a lot or like
Hmm.
jean shorts or
Yeah.
cargo shorts. And like the teachers were always like, "Well, yeah, you didn't change out of those." So,
Well, I would wear my tennis uniform during the spring and yeah, during the spring. And I don't know if some teachers didn't care, but I don't know. Maybe that was the
mm,
reason why I never had like a high A in gym class. If you want
yeah.
to go after me during the winter where you do like the weight room, because I hated the weight room every day in
Everybody
gym.
hated the room.
Oh
Everybody
my
hated it.
God, I just felt so depressed in the weight room. It's not because I couldn't lift like with the jocks or anything. It's just I just hate the whole vibe in there.
Yeah, it was definitely a weird vibe, and also like it's boring because like I mean
It is.
like when you're a kid, like I guess I could say I enjoy lifting weights now. I don't do it very often because
Hmm.
I'm just so lazy about it, but um I like it was just so boring. I'd rather be playing like handball or dodgeball or something
Oh
like
yeah,
that, baseball. Just something that involves like something to do rather than just
exactly.
like doing that.
And even though I never had the football coach as my gym teacher, I don't know if you did in high school.
Yeah, I did.
You did. I
Mhm.
heard he was actually really lax about the whole weight room
He
issue
was.
thing. He just wanted
He
you to.
was.
He just wanted to like do more each time, I guess.
Yeah, he was really cool actually. I mean, my brother was special needs, so everyone
Hmm.
really kind of knew who he was in the school.
Hmm.
So therefore people recognized my last name and they, kind of like especially that teacher because that teacher who was the football coach also um he had my brother for pretty much all 4 years.
Hmm.
So like he liked me. So he
Oh, okay. So back with high school. So I think we only had what guitar class, and I think we had gym together, but you weren't like in my actual class. If I remember
yeah.
correctly, I think we had the same gym period, but we never had the same teacher.
hmm
And
Yeah, I
then,
know. The guitar class is when I first actually met you, but I think I really started talking to you was senior year, I think.
because I don't remember having a class with you the rest of high school until senior year.
Yeah, I don't think so.
Because yeah, I don't remember you having. Yeah, so yeah, senior year is when I didn't start having another class with you, and albeit second period and eighth period actually,
hmm
where we would just play Mario Kart DS in front of our English teacher.
She didn't care.
She
She
didn't.
really didn't. We just played Mario Kart DS the entire period, didn't do our
Hmm.
work, and she would still give us A's.
Oh
I
yeah.
think she at that point she just was just checked out.
Hmm. I think she
But then
retired
our
too after that.
Yeah, I think she retired recently. Also, our eighth period class with our history teacher
Hmm.
who had loved conspiracy theories.
Oh yeah. Yep, that was always a fun time.
Yeah, he had conspiracy theories. He like I'm pretty sure he like watched Alex Jones and stuff like that. Um, you know, we're not gonna get any further into that,
Hmm.
but he just watched like that kind of stuff. And like the last day of school, he told us a story about how he saw a demon. Um, so that was
Hmm.
just a blast. That was our advanced placement European history class, by the
Yes,
way.
yes, it was. And sometimes we learn about European history, sometimes we learn about conspiracy theories.
The best part is that one of the girls in that class was like, he was talking some type of conspiracy theory, or he
Yep.
was on some tangent. She
Hmm.
goes, "Can we just get back to the lesson? Like, I'm trying to learn what you like. I want to know about what the lesson." And he
Yeah.
goes, he like tells her like to stop talking, like, "Hey, stop interrupting me. I'm
Insert.
I'm diatribing or
And he
something."
called everyone by their last name.
He did, yeah.
And I know who you're talking about now because I remember because he would always tell that person to stop talking.
Yeah. Do you remember the time that he told everyone in the class, you have to have your grading rubric in
Oh
order for
yeah,
you to
that was
get
the.
an A. You can
I
get a
remember that.
B
Yeah.
if you don't have your grading rubric.
Hmm.
And then I did my presentation,
Hmm.
and I didn't have my grading rubric. So he goes, okay, so the most you can get is a B. And then another
Hmm.
kid, a couple days later, says, I don't have my rubric. And he goes, oh, it's fine. I gave you an A. And I stood up and I was like,
Oh
what
yeah,
the heck?
that
And
was
then he's like, fine, fine, I'll give you an A too.
that was the what was it? That was the end of the year project where I had to make a PowerPoint on a European country.
Yeah, mine
Uh,
was Portugal.
and mine's fitting because you know how we play games later, so I had France.
Yeah, yep.
I also used France for a different class where we did kind of the same thing as well.
So you just do one project or two
Exactly.
projects once.
And then I remember our one classmate who had, what was it? I think it was Austria. And
Hmm.
he put someone before Arnold when he got to like Austrian celebrities.
Yeah.
And you're like, so you put him before Arnold?
Yeah.
One person took, I think, England, and he obviously took the easy way out and used the Beatles.
Yeah. I used Cristiano Ronaldo. That's who I used.
Oh, yeah. And the
Um,
other, so every day in that class, it's be quiet, this person, and then Juffles here would make puns every day in class.
mhm.
You don't know
I'd
when
write
it's
one on the
coming.
board
Yeah.
every morning.
hmm Didn't you do that in homeroom too, senior year?
Yeah, yes. I wrote one on the board every morning, and the math teacher that was my homeroom teacher. One day I
Mhm.
didn't have one, and he was like, "I'm worried about you. I'm surprised you didn't have one."
That teacher was a legend, by the way.
Yes, yes. He's also the bowling coach.
He's
So,
also the tennis coach now. I think he's a head coach now. I think he took over, if I
wow.
remember correctly.
Jack of all trades.
Yeah, heck of a man. Has like two kids now. I think, if I remember correctly
Yeah,
as
yeah,
well.
he was a good dude.
Good man.
Yeah.
So he would make a pun every day in history, and then as soon as he's done, he makes this little remark, and all you hear is Eric.
Yeah, we had a couple of kids who were in that class who I was friends with at the time.
hmm
No longer friends with these people, honestly. They were kind of toxic people who, didn't
hmm
really support me. Don and I had a little endeavor that we made ourselves a
hmm
little bit after senior year that we won't get into. But they would leave nasty comments. It was a
Oh
YouTube channel.
yeah, I
But
remember
they would
that.
leave
Yep.
those people would leave nasty comments, and they'd leave
hmm
nasty comments on my Facebook and stuff like that.
hmm
Those aren't really people you want around yourself. You don't want
Oh
anyone who's
yeah.
not going to be supportive. I myself, I have a lot of grand creative ideas, but I don't feel like I have a lot of um, like ability to create them. Like I have a lot of great ideas, but I'm not very creative.
hmm
So, um, we created this YouTube channel. It was supposed to be a little bit of fun thing.
Yeah.
And then these people just could not stand the fact that we were doing something like that
hmm
and just completely were just decided they were going to bombard it with hate
Oh
and
yeah.
stuff like that, which I mean, it was cringy. We're
Yeah.
not gonna lie about that. But this was
hmm
2011, late 2011, early 2012. Everybody on YouTube was cringy.
hmm
There was nothing like inappropriate about it. It was just fun,
hmm
and that's why I really kind of getting into the
hmm
uh kind of get into the streaming thing because I feel like it's an outlet to be cringy and to be
Oh
creative,
yeah.
and uh there's a lot of support. Like
hmm
everybody, at least in your community, has been awesome, supportive. They support anything
hmm
for the most part, and like those are the kinds of people you want to surround yourself with.
Exactly.
To answer the question, was I on the bowling team? I was not, unfortunately. I actually had signed up for it, but there's an issue where, like, I come from a family that's remarried. My father's remarried, and they couldn't really at the time make sure that I could get to the practices and all that kind of stuff. Which I mean, I understand.
hmm
I kind of wish I did more in high school like that, but um, I really wanted to do it. My mother was a very good bowler in high school, but unfortunately, I was not able to do that.
Wait, they didn't give you rides to the bowling alley for practice?
Um, I don't remember. That or there was a money issue. There was something like that. I know I had also signed up for the baseball team
hmm
at one point too, but I'm really glad that I did follow through with the baseball team because that was
hmm
a very toxic environment. I won't talk about what was going on. with the baseball team because that's not my story to tell. But there was a lot of hazing and harassment that had to
Oh,
go
really?
go on with that. I had a very good friend who was on that team, and he did tell me that there was a lot of hazing harassment going on there.
Oh,
So
jeez.
yeah,
Well, it's a good thing you don't sign up for things at times.
yeah, yeah.
And our governor at the time is why I didn't play tennis senior year when I would have been on varsity.
Oh yeah. Oh,
Yeah,
is there something where like you had to pay or something
yeah.
like that?
You had to pay. I think it was $50 to
Hmm.
pay to play high school sports,
Hmm. I
and
think I remember that. I remember that
yeah,
being like a sticking point for some
and
people.
at that point I was like, I'm not paying. I'm not gonna ask for $50 to play tennis when I was playing it for free for these last 3 years.
Yeah.
But oh well. Thanks a lot, Chris
Hey,
Christie.
could have gotten your varsity letter,
I could
right?
have gotten my varsity letter because the coach would have put me on varsity regardless because it was my senior year.
Did you get a varsity letter for concert band or no?
No, if you're in marching band, you can get a varsity letter. But concert band was just like technically it was a school elective
Hmm.
or yeah. So I got a I think I got some award for being in band all 4 years, but if it wasn't marching band, you don't get a letter, unfortunately.
Yeah.
And I was in
I
marching
you
band for all of like 3 months.
you remember when we went to that award dinner and sat there and got no
Oh,
awards?
the academic banquet, or whatever they called it.
Yeah, so they basically had this
Yep.
academic banquet for
Mhm.
people who were getting awards for academics in school,
Mhm.
obviously.
Yeah.
But I think what they did is they invited like the top like 25 or 30% of the class or
Mhm.
something. And pretty much it was everybody else was going to be an audience for the 15 kids who get awards,
Oh
pretty
yeah,
much.
you were just there to watch
So
the. You were just there. We were just there to watch the honor society kids get like
get
10
every
awards.
award over.
Yeah.
Now, I had like thought that maybe I had a chance at one of the awards.
Mhm.
I had gotten pretty lucky my first 2 years.
Yeah.
I had a French teacher who was super big on extra credit. I got 108 on one semester on French. And
Mhm.
I'm thinking, oh, that's going to pump my numbers up. And I got like 108 and then like 103 for like the first 2 years. And then we had a different teacher for French 3 and 4,
Mhm.
and I got like a 96 and then like a 98. So
Okay.
I'm thinking, oh, I got a chance at this
Mhm.
because my extra credit is going to boost me up. I didn't get it. Now they probably
Mhm.
would have told me beforehand if I had gotten it so that I knew going in that I was getting an award.
Mhm.
But I thought maybe I had a shot at it, but I wasn't. I knew it was between three people, and I probably wasn't gonna get it. But
Yeah, I knew I didn't have a shot at any like big thing there.
yeah,
So we basically just got the participation trophy for completing high school. That's what I
hmm
would look at it as now.
yeah. I mean, hey, it was a free dinner.
It was, yeah. And our one friend who also was invited and literally lives like around the corner from the place didn't go.
Yep. Yeah,
Well,
he didn't even bother to come.
I should
He's
say
my
at the
room.
time, not
He's my
currently.
roommate now.
Yeah. Here, call him over and we'll interrogate him before I didn't go to his now former workplace.
Yeah, right. That doesn't exist anymore.
Yeah, now it's a liquor store.
Oh yeah,
Uh,
it wasn't at the school. It was actually at a like a banquet hall.
yeah,
So
it was like a catering place, kind of.
yeah, catering place. That's the right word.
Yeah. So moving on from high school, what do we have next on here? Oh boy. So fast forward 4 years,
Hmm.
and we have that one day in Philly where we decided to leave early in the morning, and we're gonna go to all the little museums in there.
Yeah,
Uh,
I am a big history guy,
mhm,
so especially American history, which is great for living in New Jersey because
mhm,
you have Philadelphia to the west,
mhm.
you have New York and Boston up there,
Yep.
and even if you like other stuff, there's like Baltimore and stuff
Mhm.
like that, or Red Bank, Red Bank
Yeah.
Battlefield.
Mhm.
Um, but we decided, I hadn't been to Philly to do the history stuff since I was like in fifth grade. So I was like,
Hmm.
Don, I, and another one of our friends decided we were going to go there because we had tickets to the Phillies game actually later that night.
Yep.
So yeah, that was a good time. Um, we went. We want to talk about the Free Quaker House or
Oh,
the Quaker Meeting House.
the Free Quaker House, the one where
Yeah.
we thought the guy was gonna like do some presentation, and all he did was just stand there for 10 minutes.
So this guy, he's dressed as a Quaker from the 1700s, and he's sitting in this chair in front of this desk, and he's got like a bunch of like different vials of things. So I'm like, okay, maybe we're going to talk about 1700s medicine. What are we going to
Hmm.
talk about here? And Don, my friend, and I sat in the pews of this Quaker meeting house for
Hmm.
maybe 15 minutes
Yep.
and waited for this guy to start his presentation. I thought he was just going to start a presentation.
Hmm.
He did not start a presentation at all, just looked at us. It
Yep.
was the most awkward thing I've ever seen.
Oh yeah.
And then there's the Pico Theater.
That was probably the best part of it.
That was so we decided to go on, was it a weekday?
It was a week. Was it a weekday? I think it was a
I think
weekday.
so. It had to have been because if it wasn't a weekday, there would have been more people there.
Yeah.
We went on a weekday morning, um, and there was nobody else. It's called the Pico Theater, and it was
Hmm.
supposed to be this presentation. It was maybe about 6 or 7 minutes long,
Yeah.
of about liberty and America and stuff like that. So I was like, okay, it
Hmm.
was like a what $5 entry. So we're like, well, we'll throw $5 at it. Um, then we're sitting there, and at the very end, I think what this is meant to do is it's meant to take very when you're in the lobby, they take pictures of you. Now we didn't know that they were taking pictures of us when they're when they took these pictures. Uh, like at the very end of the thing, they start like putting people's faces up on the top to like be like, oh, we're all Americans,
Hmm.
whatever that is. So they did that, but they did not put anybody's picture except for our friends.
Oh yeah.
Um, it was just the same picture of our friend all over.
Hmm.
And I don't think I've ever laughed that hard in my life. I
Oh
was on
yeah.
the floor crying at laughing how hard this was.
We literally like left the little area just laughing.
Yeah, and it
And
was the best. It was the best thing. I
mhm,
mean, we still remember it to this
I still
day.
have a picture of it.
Yes, you do.
I won't share it because it would show a face that I don't need to be sharing right now. But
Yeah. Well,
but
it's funny though.
I
It's
we
it's funny. It's great.
I was because when we got it, like, how did we get that picture of him?
Yeah, because they obviously took it in the lobby because I recognized the
Yeah.
background.
Hmm.
Um, and then it was just it was just his face plastered all over. And the best part is that if they had chosen Don or I, it would not have been as funny. The
Oh
fact that they
yeah.
chose this particular friend
Yep.
is because he's like the nicest dude
Hmm.
like ever.
Yep.
And he's just funny and he's just like the greatest.
Hmm.
And he's also a little bit awkward too. So
Yeah.
like he didn't put his face all over there.
That was probably that was the best part of today. Actually, that was better than the baseball game.
It definitely was better than the baseball game. I remember the Phillies got their butt kicked in that game.
No,
But
no, they didn't get their butt kicked. It was because they lost 5-4 that day.
oh, okay. Well,
There was
no,
another
it's not a butt
game.
kicking.
There was another game we went to 3 years later where they lost 10-1, I think, or 10-0.
You remember
To
when we went to that Phillies game and I ended up getting dehydrated?
oh yeah, that was 2 years before that day in Philly actually.
Was it?
Yeah, that was in 2013.
Oh, okay.
So
Yeah, that
yeah,
wasn't fun.
we went inside. I think it was the Ben Franklin Museum. One of
Ben Franklin
the
Museum, that was
one of
fun.
like the six small museums that we went to.
Yeah, there was the Ben Franklin Museum,
Hmm.
the Independence Hall, the
Yeah.
Liberty Bell.
Hmm.
Um, then we walked in. Didn't we walk into like the Jewish Heritage Museum?
I believe we did. Yeah.
But then we were like, it wasn't free, so we didn't go all the way in.
Oh yeah, something like that.
Yeah.
I remember in the Ben Franklin Museum, there was this one thing just playing like for whatever reason, it was playing like a sound of like Ben Franklin just groaning for on repeat.
Yeah, because he had gout,
That's
and it
right.
was him. Yeah, so it was just like
Yeah.
over and over again.
Well, then they had like that little thing that they carried him in when he was alive because he was so heavy.
Yeah, yeah. They had that big thing that
Hmm.
they had to carry him around because he couldn't walk anymore. By the time he died when he was in his 90s, I
Yeah,
think,
he lived
which
long
is
at the time.
crazy for that. Yeah.
I remember.
Also,
Yeah.
there is just a tip if anyone does visit Philadelphia.
Hmm.
In order to visit Ben Franklin's grave, if you want to go inside, you have to pay a $5 fee. But you can see Ben Franklin's grave from the street for free.
Yep.
If you just care about seeing that,
Hmm.
you don't have to pay the $5 to get into the cemetery. There are a couple other interesting like graves in there, but if you just want to see Ben Franklin's grave, you
Hmm.
don't have to pay the $5.
I actually saw it again last year.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, when I met Rose, the lore masters.
Oh, okay. Yeah, cool.
Yeah, I was showing her around Philly, and one of the things that was conveniently right around the corner from us was Ben Franklin's grave.
Yeah, at my job, I'm a delivery driver. I deliver with the van, and I drive through Philadelphia pretty much every week. Drive right past the Liberty Bell every week. It's kind of crazy. You think like the nation was born literally
Hmm.
where I'm driving right now.
Yep.
Um,
And then there's also, I think if you walk like another like 10 minutes away from there, there's one area that was where they filmed National Treasure, if I remember correctly.
Correct. Yes, there is a cemetery in there where they filmed a National Treasure shootout. There was a
Yeah,
shootout in
that's
that
what it
cemetery.
was. Yeah, so we were sitting there like, yeah, so this is actually a scene where uh, a scene from National Treasure.
Yep. Yep.
So there's your little extra stuff with Philly, if you ever end up in
Hmm.
Philly. And the Amish is in Lancaster, which is I think another what hour and a half away.
Yeah, although you can find Amish,
Yeah.
pretty much everywhere. You're gonna find them more central PA, central eastern PA.
Hmm.
Um, um, my my friend Holly has actually been married to an Amish man. So,
Oh, really?
yep.
Oh,
So,
wow. What's that like? That's something. That's
mm.
not for me to know.
um, all right.
Yeah.
So, what do we got now?
So next we have living in Orlando.
Living in Orlando was fun. I was not ready for it myself.
Hmm.
If I actually, I wish I had the knowledge that I have now. Um, back then, living in Orlando was awesome. I lived maybe 15 minutes away from Universal Studios, about 40 minutes away from Disney World,
Hmm.
and I had a pass to both of them. It was awesome. I used to go. I actually preferred going to Universal because of how easy it was to get out at night, because compared to Disney, both of those were super fun to do. Maybe one day I'd like to do that again.
Hmm.
Um, but as of right now, that's not what I'm looking to do. I actually met a good friend, mutual friend of ours, Harley.
Hmm.
Uh, I met him at work when I worked down there in Orlando. It was a good life experience, but as of right now, I'm
Yeah.
pretty satisfied with how
Hmm.
things are.
You were there for what, 3 years?
4 years, and then I moved with an ex of mine to New
That's
York,
right.
upstate New York, where she was originally from, and then after we split,
Hmm.
um, I moved back down to New Jersey. Now, actually, funny story is that Don was supposed to be my best man. I was engaged to her at that point.
Hmm.
Don was supposed to be my best man. He was writing his best man speech. So,
Yep.
hey, you don't have to worry about that one right
Well,
anymore.
I think I got like a good paragraph in, and then I just hit like a creative writing block or whatever you want to call it, where
Good
you
thing you never
just,
finished it then.
yeah.
So,
Okay, well, I had the paragraph written, then I deleted it, and then like, nah, I shouldn't say that. And
mhm.
then, yeah, I never got past that first paragraph, actually.
Well, it's a good thing you didn't.
Yep. I was about
Yeah.
to get everybody into like Men's Warehouse or whatever.
Yeah, exactly. Oh, yeah. You were talking about like, oh, getting everybody the wedding party, the
Yep.
suits, and all that kind of stuff. No, we don't got to worry about
Yeah,
that right now.
when
So,
when I worked at a place that was affiliated with the company.
Yeah, and I worked there too.
Yeah, and now
I
they're all into one company.
Yeah, yeah. Don and I actually did work together at one
Hmm.
point, as well. But he got me the job there, and
Yep.
then I repaid him by quitting. No, I'm just kidding. Um,
Well, you left before things kind of took a turn there. I'll say that.
yeah, I left a sinking ship.
Yeah. So did you go to Disney during like all the major holidays while you were down there?
I definitely did. I actually went. One of the funny things we were talking about YouTube earlier.
Hmm.
I decided that I was going to make a YouTube channel, which I never followed through on. Mostly because I mean I know how to video edit, but I didn't have a machine that was kind of capable of doing it.
Gotcha.
So I uh, recorded a bunch of stuff on my phone around Christmas time.
Hmm.
And I was planning on putting it all together and like putting it out there. And I never really did.
Hmm.
But I actually kind of was a Disney adult for a little bit.
Hmm.
I would definitely say I'm not nearly as crazy as some other people. Like, I thought I was crazy when I was like in middle school and high school as a Disney adult, but I'm definitely not. Seeing some people on TikTok, the amount of money that some people spend on that kind of stuff, like people paying $50 for a popcorn bucket,
Oh, get out of
um,
here.
and like that's like ridiculous. Like, uh, I wish I could live within my mean, or like I have to live within my means in terms of like my Disney addiction, quote unquote. So
Hmm.
a lot of my stuff is like watching videos, love watching videos and stuff like that. Um, it's fun, and I love it, and I want to take my kids there someday, and
Hmm.
I would love to live by there again, but I can't keep up with all of these
Oh yeah.
Disney adults.
Now it's I don't even know what it costs to go to Disney anymore.
It's astronomical. It's
Yep.
crazy. It's really funny because we were having a conversation. Me and the guys were having a conversation last week during the Super Bowl, uh, and we were
Hmm.
talking about, and I said something like, you should maybe look into like a cruise or something like that because
Yeah.
cruises are super cheap at this time because it's a little difficult with international
Hmm.
travel. Um, and I was thinking, I'm like, oh, maybe Disney World and something like that, and I'm like, but um, you know, I looked at like prices. Even the value resorts right now are absolutely crazy,
I bet.
astronomical. $130 a night, which
Hmm.
for a value resort, is kind of bad. And then ticket pricing, and then you got to think about the food, and then
Oh yeah.
travel, getting down there, everything like that.
Hmm. Okay. So let's move on from Orlando because I know the person in chat has been trying to get me to play this game with her. And you have quite a history with this one, actually.
Oh, okay. Are we talking about Dead by Daylight?
The Dead by Daylight community.
We are talking about the Dead by Daylight community. Okay. So I have a love-hate relationship with the Dead by Daylight community. Dead by Daylight to me was the first multiplayer game, other than Overwatch, I should say, first
Hmm.
multiplayer game that I got absolutely obsessed with. I learned everything about the killers, everything about the survivors, all the perks. I can name you things by looking at them. Um, Now, I haven't played Dead by Daylight in a while. Um, and the reason being is because I want to play Dead by Daylight on PC. I was a PlayStation 4 player for the longest time, and I still have a whole bunch of stuff on PlayStation 4. All of my DLCs. I own the Demogorgon
Hmm.
DLC, which you can't even get anymore. Um, but there's no cross progression on PC. So I would have to start from scratch and wouldn't even be able to use the Demogorgon or any of the Stranger Things people.
Hmm.
Um, but when I started streaming, I changed my PlayStation name to include my TTV at the end, so
Hmm.
that people could see and they could come to my stream, and it was a little bit of an advertising thing. Um, I've never seen a bigger group of
Hmm.
babies and awful toxic people than the Dead by Daylight community. They cannot and will not accept a loss with grace. They cannot accept a win with
Hmm.
grace. Um, I'm very biased, I should say. I'm a killer main. Play killer a lot. I do
Hmm.
enjoy playing survivor. Um, but the amount I feel like that the us versus them mentality of both sides
Mm-hmm.
is awful. Makes me not want to play it. It makes me stressed to actually play the game. I loved everything about it. I love horror movies. I got it when it was the free game on PlayStation, um, and it was so fun, and I got so addicted to it. But it would make me so upset. Yeah, I mean, I've gone on Twitter rants
Mm-hmm.
that are like 6 messages long
I remember that day.
about yeah. It's awful. And you know what? I had to take a step back and I've
Mm-hmm.
taken a massive step back with Dead by Daylight. Um I still love it and like I still keep up with it and stuff like that. Um but the attitudes of the players is something that turns me off. And actually Overwatch has kind of done the same thing too. Overwatch is a very toxic community, and unfortunately, I love both of those games, but
Mm-hmm.
the community is just awful.
I haven't touched Overwatch since wow, how long has it been now? 5 years?
Well, I mean, you played it every now and again. You haven't played since Overwatch 2 came out.
I have not, actually.
Yeah.
I could download it, but then it's just like I don't know. I don't see myself
Mhm.
playing I don't see myself playing it much now.
Yeah, I like playing Overwatch, and it's a fun game, and I want to
Mm-hmm.
get better at it. But just I was playing, the other day I was playing Zenyatta, and I'm brand new to PC. Like I just got a
Mm-hmm.
PC. I just built this PC less than a month ago, and everyone was just so mean to me because I didn't know what I was doing. And unfortunately, I
Mm-hmm.
mean, I know what I'm doing, and I know the objective of the game, but my fingers and hands are a little bit slow because I'm not used to mouse and keyboard.
Oh
So.
yeah. And that's what I used to play as. I used to be well, when I really started liking Overwatch, I started playing Zenyatta.
Mhm.
I was very conservative because I was I don't know, when I talk about it with other people, I would say I was a play of the game Zenyatta.
Yeah, well, I mean, I had fun. When we would have our 6 stacks, but
Oh yeah.
unfortunately,
Mhm.
we have our main tank. We have somebody who's already like, in that role. So
Mhm.
I was always the secondary tank, the
Yeah.
off tank,
Mhm.
and I've kind of struggled to find a place. Like I want to play support because I want to be able to jump into matches quickly, but
Mhm.
I'm not good at it, and I feel more liable to the team, or yeah, more liable
Mhm.
to the team if I'm a bad support rather than a bad DPS. So.
Yeah. I just liked and to my and I hold on to Transcendence longer than I need to, I'm sure at times.
Yeah, I got flamed for that too. Don't worry.
Oh yeah, I mean, there's a big difference when you're playing with your friends compared to playing with at the time 5 other randoms online.
Yeah, exactly. And then
Oh
it's
god.
it's difficult. And and listen, I understand. Like I've had my moments where I've gotten upset with my friends with how things go
Mhm.
in a game. You got to take a step back. Listen. I had to work on that myself, and I'm really trying. And our mutual friend is doing a very good job at helping me with that now. Because I
Mhm.
mean, like we're kind of holding each other accountable. Because he also has moments
Mhm.
himself too. So.
I remember one day I was doing, I think I did a ranked match on competitive with online randoms one day, or it
Hmm.
might have been quick play. Doesn't matter, dude. You just get the wrong people sometimes. But I was playing Orisa, and they got mad at me and blamed me for throwing
Hmm.
towards the end of the match when you want to guess who the two DPS players were?
Hanzo and Widowmaker.
Hanzo and Genji.
Oh, well, all right. I was close.
The Genji wants to say, you all need to stand back because you know how to fight by your own, and the guy goes in by himself and dies in 2 seconds. And then they
Leroy
blame me,
Jenkins.
and then they blame me for why we lost. Like, I'm the last reason we lost.
Leroy Jenkins.
Uh, Games and their toxic communities, I just don't get
Yeah.
it. Especially people who feel the need to go find someone's Twitch channel and go complain for 5 seconds to make them feel better.
Yeah, and that was something that was always terrible about Dead by Daylight is with Dead by Daylight there's 4 survivors and 1 killer. So
Mm-hmm.
if you are a killer and you do something that the survivor doesn't like, and it could be something the survivor doesn't like, and then they're in a group with 3 other survivors,
Mm-hmm.
all 3 of them. are gonna see that you're a Twitch streamer. They're all three of them are gonna all four. I'm sorry, all four of them are
Mm-hmm.
gonna see that you're a Twitch streamer. All four of them are gonna jump in, and you're gonna get flamed, and you're gonna get hate.
Oh yeah.
It sucks because as somebody, I think it might be a little bit different if there was, and I'm gonna come off a little bit jerky when I say
Mm-hmm.
this, but as someone who doesn't get very many viewers, I maybe have one or two people in my chat at a time that are active. And when you have one, two, or even no people in chat who are there, who have to kind of be your defense against the people who are coming in with the intent to make you feel bad and the intent
Mm-hmm.
to hurt you,
Yep.
it does get overwhelming and it gets very hurtful. It does, because
Oh
I mean,
yeah.
like you try to feel like it doesn't bother you, try
Mm-hmm.
to tell yourself it doesn't bother you, but yeah, obviously it does. You're gonna
Yeah.
feel bad about it,
Mm-hmm.
and it's gonna discourage you from wanting to stream.
Oh yeah.
But that's why I kind of feel like I wanted to start when I started streaming. I wanted to be
Mm-hmm.
streaming Dead by Daylight. I didn't know how bad this community was because I only played on PlayStation. That was there was no end game chat on PlayStation, so you don't really see anything, and you just turn off your messages, and that's that. So I started, and I was like, I'm excited to be a Dead by Daylight streamer,
Mm-hmm.
and then within maybe about 5 days, I've realized that probably wasn't going to happen, and I'm actually having a lot more fun doing single player things, and my goal isn't to bring eyes to Dead by Daylight or a certain game. Like I like the fact that I can choose what I want to do now that I have this PC that I built by myself. So
Because you started streaming actually like long before you probably really got into Twitch streaming.
correct, yeah. I just kind of threw it on. I actually was doing it on YouTube for the longest
Yeah,
time.
you were doing YouTube.
Yeah, but that was so that like my ex who was living in New York when I was living in Florida,
Mm-hmm.
that's so she could watch it.
Oh,
She
okay.
enjoyed watching us play Dead by Daylight.
Mm-hmm.
So I would stream just so she could watch it.
Oh, okay.
That's how that kind of started, and then I was like, oh, I really like the idea of making friends through
Mm-hmm.
games, and that's why I'm so proud of you
Mm-hmm.
because you've always been someone, at least as long as I've known you, you've been very reserved. You've been very like quiet, and not that's not in a bad way,
Yeah.
but like you've been very quiet and reserved, and I never would have imagined that you would have started streaming. You would have been the last person that I would have actually imagined,
Mm-hmm.
and I'm like just blown away by how awesome your community is, how awesome the people you meet are, and how many different fingers you have in different things. So like you're streaming, but you also do your tournaments or
Mm-hmm.
your Toontown stuff,
Yep.
or I don't even, your podcast, the podcast we're doing right now.
Yep.
You have your finger on so many different pulses,
Mm-hmm.
and I envy you in a way because it's like you have a plan and you go through with it. I think that's one of my
Mm-hmm.
biggest problems is I get these grandiose plans in my head and I'm like, oh, I really want to do this,
Mm-hmm.
and it just never happens.
Well, it's funny because the person who I started streaming because of was also someone who was the last person in her group of friends to be seen as a streamer.
Yeah.
Because, long story short, she only got into video games because of her husband.
Hmm.
So I think before then she would never have really been playing video games,
Yeah.
with the
And
exception
I
of
mean,
Toontown, I guess. But
yeah, and it's kind of funny because you and I are polar opposites in the way it's like if you and I were walking down the street and we met somebody, I'd be doing the talking the entire time.
mm-hmm.
I'm very outgoing and I'm very boisterous and I'm talk a lot. And you are very reserved and like you're very tactical with what you say. I'm just kind of like diarrhea of the mouth.
Mm-hmm.
And like I said, you were one of the last people I would have ever expected to
Mm-hmm.
do this. But listen, you're much farther than I ever would have dreamed and
Mm-hmm.
imagined. So
All right, so let's move over to, and I'm going to say very lightly involved in this because I've been in 2 episodes of this, and I have a combined maybe 30 seconds of
Well,
talking in it.
I have two podcasts
That is also,
technically.
yeah, that's
So,
also true. And they're all
um,
yours, actually. Actually, I think technically two belong to two other people that we're friends with, but
correct. Yes. So actually, the first podcast on Spotify is called "What's Going On with NJIF," and
yep.
that's N as in Nancy, J as in John, I as in Igloo, F as in Frank.
Mm-hmm.
That is the name that we gave to our friend group. NJIF stands for New Jersey, Indiana, Florida. When we created this, we had friends in New Jersey, Indiana,
Mm-hmm.
and Florida. I lived in Florida. Our buddy Trenton
Mm-hmm.
lives in Indiana, and every other one of our friends lives in New Jersey. Um,
Yep.
we created this podcast was an idea of our friend Tim to chronicle what events are happening in our life
Mm-hmm.
and in audio form. It wasn't even started really to be distributed for any like buddy to really see that much.
Mm-hmm.
But it was basically something we could go back to listen to at any point and just say, "Oh, what was going on at
Mm-hmm.
this point in our lives?" And we
Yep.
could listen to it, and um, I think we're on episode 12 or 13 or something like that.
Is
Maybe
it?
I don't know.
I thought you were like,
Actually,
I thought you were on 16.
maybe you know what? You might be right. I can pull it
Well, at
up
least
on
that's what Spotify was.
uh-huh.
I thought Spotify was telling me whenever I
Yeah,
opened it
so
last.
it's definitely a silly podcast. There's really
Yeah.
no structure to it.
Mm-hmm.
Um it's just silly. It's us friends having fun,
Mm-hmm.
talking about stupid things, talking about our lives and just shooting the breeze. It's a very good
Mm-hmm.
podcast to put on in the background if you're not really. Yes, 16 just came out on February 1st. However, there is a 17th episode that has been recorded that has not been released yet.
Oh, okay.
So uh, that is, a great thing to put on in the background if you're not looking for anything with too much structure.
Mm-hmm.
Um, but my baby and my passion
Mm-hmm.
project is the TCAP recap. I originally had created this podcast. Um, I was going to recap and rank the Predators of the NBC Dateline series To Catch a Predator, which I am obsessed with, by the way. If you ever have any questions or about any stupid information about To Catch a Predator, I am your guy.
Mm-hmm.
And I started this a while ago, and I've recorded the first episode of it and never touched it again. However, just recently, my best friend Holly, I just got her into To Catch a Predator. She watches it. She knows the references now. We are reading together what is called the Holy Lornography. One of the predators on To Catch a Predator, named Lorne Armstrong, had a chat log that was 406 pages long.
Jeez.
We are going through that chat log part by part and reading it together.
Mm.
It's also a very funny chat log. I do want to tell you that it's very funny. It's called TCAP Recap on Spotify. We are now at part 8. We just actually released part 8 yesterday.
Okay.
So that is a brand new episode of the TCAP Recap that is out. It is amazing. If we're planning on, once we're done the Holy Lornography, we're planning on doing some more TCAP content. Different top 10 lists. I'm gonna have to do her top 10 most hated predators. I'm gonna do the same. And we're gonna maybe read some more different chat logs from other predators. I would say if you're going to follow one of these, and you are interested in like true crime and like To Catch a Predator content, this is the one. This is the one that we put in. That I say it has most effort put into it. And it is definitely the passion project that I have. It is definitely the podcast that I've always wanted to make, and I'm glad that I have Holly in order to keep me accountable because she's always like, "Are we gonna do more of the chat log? We're gonna do more of the chat log." And then we've decided we're going to do it every Monday. Whether it gets posted every Monday is I'm not sure or not. This week we did Tuesday because it was Valentine's Day. So we did a special Valentine's Day reading of the chat log. But usually that'll be every Monday we record it. And then it'll either get posted that night or the next day on Tuesday.
Okay. So how long has that been going on?
So ever since we started the Lornography in December.
Okay.
And actually I unlisted the original first episode because I didn't really like it, like the format that I went with it. But the Holy Lornography we started in December. And now we are at part 8, and we do like maybe about 2 to 3 nights, depending on how long the chat log is at that point. But it is a month long, so this predator talked to the decoy for a month. So.
Okay. So I might have missed it, but is there anything that like started the whole inspiration for TCAP?
I've always been into To Catch a Predator content. What really got me back into it was I'm gonna plug one of the video series that I really like is The Predator Chronicles by Mr. Gigi.
Okay.
I actually think he's also a Filipino creator.
Oh, really?
Yeah, I believe so. I'm not 100% sure though. That he's either Filipino or he's Latino. I can't remember.
Okay.
But he does a very good, a very, very good series about where he just goofs on To Catch a Predator episodes and stuff like that.
Okay.
And he also, speaking of To Catch a Predator, right before we recorded this podcast, I found a Google Drive with the original To Catch a Predator episodes, so I am set.
Oh, okay.
So I'm actually thinking about possibly doing either To Catch a Predator videos or To Catch a Predator live streams, something like that. Now, I don't know what the rules are, obviously. I want to be careful because I know NBC is very, very protective. Now, because even commentators that I've watched have had their videos taken down if they don't, if they're not careful. But that would be awesome. Or somehow do transformative videos. Okay, that's a good question. What is To Catch a Predator? To Catch a Predator was a series in the mid 2000s. It started, I believe, in 2005.
That sounds right.
And it went to 2007. It is a Dateline program where there was a team called Perverted Justice who would go online into online chat rooms and pretend to be underage boys and girls, usually ages 12 to 14. Then they would these men, they were all men actually, who reached out to these decoys and tried to set up a meeting for either sex or talk about sex or show themselves on camera naked and stuff like that. And these guys would make a trip to the Sting House where they would be met with Chris Hansen. Chris Hansen would interview them, and then afterwards, when they leave, they would get arrested. It's kind of a very weird true crime niche that I've kind of found myself in. I remember watching To Catch a Predator when I was a kid, when I was 12 to 13 years old. And then now, I found it once again, and now I'm obsessed with it, and I can tell you almost anything about all the predators and stuff like that. It's kind of weird. It is a very odd hobby to have. Obviously our mutual friend Zoe has made fun of me all the time, saying I'm the weirdest person she knows because I love my To Catch a Predator. However, I've found someone who shares my obsession as much as Holly does.
There you go.
So, we're doing the Lornography together and we're enjoying it, and we send each other To Catch a Predator memes all the time. And I couldn't have asked for a better turn of events.
Did Chris Hansen actually end up getting caught or something?
Chris Hansen got arrested for fraud.
Okay, got it.
And he also ended up cheating on his wife too, his first wife. Now, cheating is bad, but it's also not illegal. So I guess like but
Hmm.
um, yeah. But Chris Hansen has his own problems. He's problematic himself.
Hmm.
He's definitely not shy about making a buck or two. So
Gotcha. All right, so let's move on to the next one.
mhm.
And this is unfortunately a bit of self-praising here, but we'll just quickly go over this one. Facilitating your streaming endeavors.
Yes. All of my growth has come from that guy. Well, actually, on the
Uh,
stream, it's going to be this way.
yeah.
This guy
Make sure
right
you point the
here.
right way.
Yeah, right.
Don't point towards the brick wall.
Yeah. Yeah. Don has been awesome. I mean, obviously, he's my real life best friend, obviously. So, um, his growth has also affected me in a way because like I've been part of his community now. I've always wanted to be a little bit more active in his community. Unfortunately, I didn't really have the ability to do so when I didn't have like a computer that I could really mod effectively from, and stuff like that. And unfortunately, you know, I I think I'm a little impatient. I'm a lot more impatient than you are. I'm I was wondering, like, I'm like, oh, I only had two people come in, or I only had one person come in. I really need to have that mindset of just do me. However, I've met I'd probably say my best streaming friends are you and Zoe, who I met through you. So obviously, I met Zoe.
Hmm.
She's an awesome person. Her boyfriend Raj is an awesome person. He doesn't stream himself, but he's he's part of our group chat now.
Oh yeah.
Um,
Hmm.
and I've tried. I know, like you and I have talked about how how I know you don't like using the word network because
Yep.
it's not a good really word. It makes it
Yeah.
seem like too. It doesn't makes it seem ingenuine.
Yeah.
But I can't put it in another way other than you are the best networker that I know. Um, you'll just jump into people's chats like like even with
Hmm.
Beth when I met you
Yep.
saw that Beth was playing
Kingdom
Kingdom
Hearts.
Hearts and you're like, oh, my buddy plays Kingdom Hearts. And
Hmm.
then you were like, here, you should check this girl
Hmm.
out. I just met her on Twitch. I'm like,
Yeah.
cool. And just talked about Dead by
Hmm.
Daylight and
Yep.
Kingdom Hearts. I actually have two Kingdom Hearts tattoos, by the way.
Hmm.
And it's I I can't understate or I can't overstate enough about how like
Hmm.
you've helped at least even like this webcam that I'm using. You gave me
Yep.
this webcam.
Yep.
This desk that I'm streaming on. You gave me this desk.
Hmm.
You were giving me a capture card. Like
Yep.
you know like everything. I feel like Don's been dragging me over the
Hmm.
finish line. At least you did when I was trying to get affiliate. Yeah, so
I'm not gonna read that one comment in chat.
no, it's okay. We're gonna make another Make Don Cry channel.
Well, it has been a year since that channel was created, actually.
Yeah,
I mean, I've been told to do it on the community night, and they're right. I should.
depending on what it is and when it is, I might pop in. So,
Yeah. I mean, just have to find a day where
mm,
it's well, mostly it's just a finding day where I'm off or just get done work at time.
yeah,
And now that everybody in the community has their whole channel, they've grown a lot since the whole year it's been.
definitely.
It's gonna
And
be a lot tougher to get everybody back in.
this is an episode that you has been in the making for a
Hmm.
long time.
Oh
Is
yeah.
you were just waiting for me to actually have a proper setup that people could actually
Yep.
follow up on.
Hmm.
Um, this we talked about this episode back when you were doing like episode 2.
Oh yeah.
Like,
hmm
so.
I even got someone else in our group that will be on at some point.
Oh, great. Awesome.
Yep, but I know he doesn't have a fancy setup or anything, so his will most likely be pre-recorded. But
Uh-huh.
that's a bridge I'll get to when I get to it.
Are they going to talk about NJIF on that one too?
I don't see why not. I still have to make an outline for it, but yeah,
Uh-huh.
it's definitely in the possibility.
Yeah.
Okay, so I think we have one or two left. What is okay? So this one's gonna be, I guess, like a sentimental one. Memories of our current and previous pets.
All right. Well, where do you go? All
Now,
right.
now we,
I gotta move out of the way real quick.
I was saying now he's nowhere to be found, right?
This is my cat. His name is Murr. He's an asshole. Um, no, he's So I actually, oh man, see, I would grab him.
Mm-hmm.
But unfortunately, he doesn't like to be held at all. Um, so he would just completely squirm and try to scratch me.
Yep.
So, um, I am a cat person. I've only owned cats. Unfortunately, I mean, I shouldn't say unfortunately.
Mhm.
This makes me seem like an asshole. But my dad owns dogs, and I have owned dogs, but I'm 100% a cat person. Um, I have I've made a pledge that I am only going to adopt cats that are FIV positive.
Mm-hmm.
My first cat that I got down in Florida, his name is Cletus. He was the best cat. There will never be another cat like Cletus. Unfortunately, due to moving circumstances, Cletus did have to be surrendered. Unfortunately, well, I would say fortunately, he went to a cat rescue. And by the time that I actually was in a living situation where I could have that cat um, back, he had already found a home by that
Yeah.
point, which I'm happy about. I'm really happy that he found a home. I just miss him, and I wish I had him back.
Mm-hmm.
I hate to say this, he is and will never be replaced. Nobody can replace Cletus. However, Murr has warmed up to me a little bit. He was intact up until like he was like 3.5 years old. So he's very big for a cat,
Mm-hmm.
and he's also very ornery. Or I guess that's how you would say that word.
Yeah.
Um, he doesn't like to be cuddled or held, but he is warming up, and he does like laying by my head when I go to sleep. And he does like being around me. He's just he likes doing it on his terms. Whereas
Yeah.
Cletus, I could cradle that cat like a baby. I could burp him like a baby. I could do anything I wanted to that cat,
Mm-hmm.
and he would just come right back and just want more. He let me use him as a pillow multiple times.
I wouldn't consider using a cat as a pillow.
Listen, I wouldn't either, but he did it himself. I would be laying on the pillow and he would like squeeze his way under my head.
Didn't you have a dog before?
I did have a dog. Her name was Cassidy.
That's right.
Yes, she was my stepmom's dog before they got married. My stepmom and my dad. And actually, today is my dad and my stepmom's 20th anniversary.
Oh, really?
Yeah,
Well, happy anniversary to them.
yeah.
Good for them.
They're for their 20th anniversary. They're going to spring training. So
Oh, that's cool. That's good to hear.
yeah, it was a surprise gift
Mm-hmm.
for my dad. So.
I remember, what was it? So the password for that YouTube channel was our two dogs' names at the time,
Yeah.
and then the two numbers of two players on the Phillies at the time.
Oh yeah, I remember that. Wow, you unlocked the memory
And
there. I forgot about
then the funny thing about that was when we worked together, when they would ask for the last four numbers of your employee number,
that. Hmm.
your number was that exact number.
Was it?
Yeah, I
Oh,
remember
okay.
that.
Okay. See, I didn't even remember that. So.
Yeah, I remember random things that
Mm.
I probably have no business remembering and won't help me at all. But I don't know. Right
Yeah.
here, here's this random memory that I thought of that I remember from high school for no reason at all.
Mhm.
Not his actual number.
You know what? I'm gonna do it. I'm gonna go grab Myrrh. So,
Oh, this is gonna end badly. Oh,
here's my buddy Myrrh.
yep.
He's a
There's good old Murr.
hi. You could tell he is not happy about this.
Nope.
Yes, he's big. He's a big boy. He also has one brain cell.
Mm-hmm.
But
He is
okay, back to the bed.
liking that at all.
I just had to make sure everybody at least saw him
Oh yeah.
up once.
Now he's gonna go probably lay on SpongeBob.
Yep. No, he's going back to the same exact spot, I think.
Oh jeez. I always say cats don't seem to care, but
No.
it's always on their terms anyway.
Trying to move so you could see him. Where'd he go? Oh, he's over this
I
side.
was say you went the wrong
There he
way.
is.
Oh, now he's just looking. Now he's just looking in disgust.
Yeah, you will die later. That is what he is thinking.
Yeah, he's planning revenge later tonight. So I'll get into one of mine actually. So after we graduated high school, I had to move basically to the same town, just 10 minutes a different direction. And I would basically be watching my mom's friend's dog, who was a beagle, and his name
With a very original name.
with a very original name, and I assume the owner's husband, who passed away before I even started living there. I'm assuming he was a Beetlejuice fan or something because the dog's name was Beetlejuice.
But so that's actually original.
Yeah.
But everyone just called him Beagle.
Oh yeah, everyone called him Beagle. Nobody, even if you knew that his name was Beetlejuice, nope, you just say Beagle.
Mm.
Oh, it's a beagle. What's his name? Beagle.
Beagle was a great dog,
He
except for the
was.
times that when he just ate all of your food when
Oh yeah,
you put it on.
you can, and maybe it's a beagle thing where you just can't trust that they're asleep when you're eating. I legit left a piece of jalapeno peppers unattended one day upstairs in my house, and then I went down to grab a drink. I come back upstairs, Beagle's chowing on that thing.
He probably regretted it.
Oh, I'm pretty sure he regretted it. I didn't. I don't think I ever heard him if he got like diarrhea or anything from it, but I'm
Oh,
pretty
yeah.
sure it wasn't fun leaving his body. I'll say that
Yeah.
much.
Yeah.
Uh, he ate my Wawa sandwich one time when I came home from work.
Oh.
It was a buffalo chicken strip sandwich, and I came back upstairs, and then all of a sudden the wrapper's just on the floor, and the sandwich is already gone. Like, ooh, I'm gonna kick his ass. Not really. We
Yeah,
don't.
no, not really.
We don't mean that when we say that to our pets.
Yeah.
That we're not trying to get was it ASPCA on us.
Right.
He was a good dog. He had a mind of his own. I think he would intentionally just piss off his owner just because.
Mm.
And
It was basically your dog.
oh yeah,
I mean, the
it was
owner was
essentially-
never there.
Oh yeah, it was essentially my dog. That's how I felt about it. So wherever I went, he would follow me unless the owner was home. And if I'm off, I can literally hear him running up the steps and jumping onto my bed.
Hmm.
And then when it got cold out, he would insist that he sleep inside the blanket, and then he gets hot and leaves.
Yeah.
Good old pet memories of him.
Yeah. Yep. That's like
Alright.
like Cletus. He would lay with me. He'd go under the blanket. He'd cuddle with me. Like he'd lay all the way out like this, and he'd let me hug him.
Mm-hmm.
But not this one. This one
no.
right here. He loves his space. I'll tell you what. Except for when I get home. The moment I get home, he's up my butt immediately. So,
Oh yeah, over-attached cat.
But only on his terms.
I wish my dad's cat would do that with me. and not the.
It's really funny. It's really funny. My roommate, I was out. I think it was the night of the Royal Rumble.
Hmm.
I was out until like 1 a.m. or yeah, we were out till like 1 a.m. or whatever.
Like a little after midnight or so.
Yeah, yeah. And he texted me. He goes, "When you coming home, your cat misses you." I think he bothers my roommate when I'm not home. So
Well, it's their time to bond.
right, I keep telling him, you're gonna end up loving that cat, and he's like, hell no.
I don't even think he
I think
likes cats, to be honest.
I think he secretly likes. I think he secretly
Oh,
likes.
does he?
Her. I think so.
All right, so so for anyone in chat, we're gonna give another minute or so. If anyone has any questions for Liquid Truffles here, we'll take a minute and answer any. Well, he will, not me.
I mean, if you know the answer, I'll.
I know we kind of already went through the ones that were asked.
Will
Your
I
first
be
one.
your new best friend? Yes, yes. Dead by Daylight, perfect.
Mm-hmm.
I'll give it the good old college try.
Mm-hmm.
Can't promise I haven't played any Dead by Daylight on PC yet, but we'll get there.
I think she plays on Xbox, or does she play? I don't know. What do you play on? I don't even know what she
There
plays
is
on.
cross-platform
Oh,
for
there is
Dead by
cross-platform.
Daylight.
Okay.
Yes, there's just
PC.
yeah, there's just no cross progression. So any levels, because I have obviously I've been playing for 5 years
Mm-hmm.
on PlayStation, but none of those levels go to PC. So I
Gotcha.
would have to start all the way from scratch.
Okay.
Yeah. So that's my dilemma. But however, if I end up using that capture card, I could probably capture from that.
Mm-hmm.
But the frame rate on PlayStation is literally doo doo.
Mm-hmm.
So
Okay. Anything else, chat? Looks like you got a new friend to play Dead by Daylight with.
cool. I still need to play with who else? Who was it that I
Nim.
also had to play with? Nim. Yes, I forgot. Yeah, yeah. I think every once in a while I'll pop into Nim's chat and I'll
Mm-hmm.
be like, "Oh, we still need to play Dead by Daylight." And then
And then
she's
she's
like,
playing
"Yes."
Fortnite.
Well, no, she'll say like, "Yeah, we do," and then I'll
Mm-hmm.
never reach out to her.
Yeah.
Also, I do want to actually plug not this Friday, unfortunately. I
Mm-hmm.
once again have something to do on Friday.
Mm-hmm.
But Friday's starting soon. My buddy from Zoe's chat, Link in Wonderland, Link_in_Wonderland,
Mm-hmm.
and I are going to play It Takes Two. What's
Okay.
my favorite game to stream? That's a good one. Right now, I really like Diddy Kong Racing because it's a game from my childhood, and I like sharing it with other people. I just started playing Phasmophobia too. That game makes me want to poop myself, but I love it. It's like addicting. Um, I've literally just started it. The first stream I did of it, I had no idea. I went into it blind and I did not know what the hell I was doing. Um, I also scare very easy, which is fun to watch, but is also not great for content because I'll be like, yeah, I'm just gonna get out of here.
Mm-hmm. Actually, I think that's another game that she's been trying to get me to play with her.
Oh, Fast.
Phasmophobia.
Yeah, it's I like it. I do like it. I need to get over my fear of it, but I think that's what makes it good content to stream.
Okay.
I also would like to get back into playing Pokemon too, but there's just not enough hours in the day, really.
Yeah. Well, I mean, I do have a Pokemon tournament planned for how far extended is to be determined, but I'll probably try to do it with my community and see how far it
Yeah.
goes with interest and everything.
Lately, I've been playing a lot of Elden Ring.
Okay.
I played it on PlayStation. It's an amazing game, awesome. I am one achievement away or one trophy away from getting the platinum on that, and I'm very close. So what I'll usually do is if I'm this is the peek into my life. I'll be doing two things mostly with my time. Number one, I'm listening to Lorne Armstrong or To Catch a Predator content and playing Elden Ring. Number two, I am talking to Holly on the phone or doing the podcast and playing Elden Ring. So.
Okay. All right, so we will leave it there at this point. Feel free to plug in socials or anything else you want to plug in at this point.
Well, I mean, you can follow me on Twitter at Juffles, Juffles.
Mm-hmm.
I don't really tweet that often, and honestly, most of my stuff is sports related. So if you're not into sports, probably just I wouldn't do it. I just wouldn't
Mm-hmm.
follow me. I might just make a separate Twitter account anyway, just to for my streaming stuff. Like I said, if you're interested, TCAP recap on Spotify, and what's going on with NJIF on
Mm-hmm.
Spotify, and then obviously followed Qui-Gon Jinn,
Mm-hmm.
as if you're not already doing that. Um, and then a couple of other streamers I would shout out. My buddy or my friend Misty Knight 7. She is trying to hit affiliate. She's streaming currently, I think. And then Casper Behauser, which is
Mm-hmm.
Zoe. Casper with a K.
Mm-hmm.
So I would just shout those two people out. But yeah, thank you for having me,
Of
Don. I
course.
appreciate it.
No problem. Thank you for being on.
All right.
All right, so this will end it for episode 2. We will see you. I don't know when episode 3 is going to be. Could be a month from now. Because these people are across the pond. I'll put it that way.
Pip pip cheerio.
Yep. All right, guys. I will see you next time. Stick around for the raid and have a good night. All right, let's go raid somebody. And I know exactly who to raid.